and we are actually live. So, hi everybody. Happy Friday. I am actually really excited to have you all here joining me on my new video podcast. Welcome to Crystal Coaching Connections, where we are going to be spending some time every week discussing health, wellness, and absolutely everything in between. The goal of my show is to really bring together wellness as an integrative practice so that we could fully explore our well-being like a wheel, a spoke, multiple spokes in that line to create alignment and oneness. For those of you who don't know, I'm Crystal. I am an integrative health and wellness coach, as well as a certified naturotherapist. My specialty is working with men and women to help them to overcome stress and burnout, and also to help them reclaim their confidence and essentially stress less. At the end of the day, I'm your guide to help find realignment. Today, I have my friend, as you can see, Aida Woodward, who's an amazing friend of mine. I met Aida last year when we were completing our course at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And she's not only been a great friend, but she's also helped to support me through my own personal plant-based lifestyle that I've adopted in the last 6 months. I wanted Aida to join me today to, one, talk about her coaching practice, tell me a little bit about herself, her business, what brought her to this type of lifestyle, the plant-based whole foods lifestyle that she lives, and to see, where she came from. And, we're really hoping that we're able to get some information across to you and to teach you that basically those small steps lead to really big wins over time. And I am going to pass it over to Aida so that she can give us a little introduction of who you are. Welcome, Aida.
Well, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here on your very first podcast. This is so cool.
I know, this is amazing. Oh yeah, and by the way, we're keeping this really nice and free flowing, okay? So back and forth conversation, no stress on this podcast.
Awesome. Okay, well, my journey, as it were, and life is a journey. I mean, we all, sometimes our roads we have twists and turns, and throughout our lives, things happen, right? There may be roadblocks or stumbling or pits we fall into that we have to get out of sometimes. So that's how I ended up becoming a health coach, is because my health wasn't the greatest, and I had to figure out what worked for me. Okay. And for me, it wasn't taking medications. It wasn't filling every prescription the doctor gave me. I mean, I love my doctor, and it's been an amazing, but I had to find the doctor that worked well with me, the one that isn't so quick to jump on the prescription bandwagon.
I have a question for you. Just to elaborate a little bit more on that, you mentioned your health journey, and you were obviously being prescribed medications for something. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about what your actual health issues were? And because I think this is really important for people to understand that there's a way to reverse certain things. Right. If you're working with the proper practitioners, like you said, having a good doctor that understands what you want to do, and then having, this, either coach or somebody to help guide you along the way.
Excellent question. So I had been sick for months and months, and there was definitely something wrong with me. I had lack of energy. Basically, all I wanted to do was sleep, and I thought I had a sinus infection or a cold or something going on in my sinuses. I just didn't feel right. I remember the husband coming home and saying, "Oh, you're in bed again." And that made me seriously depressed, having to be laying around in bed, not feeling well. I've off and on kind of been an exerciser, and I had been exercising up until the point that I got sick. Okay. So having to lay in bed was really depressing.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. And I had been going to the doctor, and throughout a period of about 3 months, she ended up giving me 3 prescriptions for antibiotics.
3 prescriptions for antibiotics.
Okay. And 2 prescriptions for steroids over about a 3-month period. That might have even been shorter than 3 months. It was a few years ago. And I ended up finding out that I had mono, which is Epstein-Barr virus.
Okay.
but I still kept having symptoms of what was like a sinus infection. She sent me to have a CAT scan of my nasal passages, and they said nothing was wrong. And the only thing that that doctor said was, well, sometimes you can have symptoms of a cold. And I just walked out of there crying. So I decided to do my own research and find out if there were any natural solutions. And I did, in fact, find that certain doctors do recommend high vitamin C and other natural supplements that can help you overcome. And I did find a new doctor in my area that did intravenous IV for vitamin C.
Wow.
And within a very short time, I started feeling better. She also put me on what they called a reset diet because my cholesterol was very high.
Okay.
And within a few months after that, I went back to the doctor and had cholesterol done again. And she couldn't believe it, the difference, how it had changed in such a short time. And she asked me what I did. And I said, well, I did that diet you told me to do. And she just kind of looked at me and she goes, nobody ever does.
That's amazing though.
So with that, I was like, food makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Food can cure.
Yeah. Food will heal you.
If you know the right foods to eat.
So you basically went on this journey of, you had a doctor that was able to support you through giving you, we all hate that word diet. I know that you're probably part of that, but again, this wasn't something that was supposed to be sustainable long-term. This was something supposed to reverse some serious health issues that you had. And then from there, you started to do more research on, I guess, plant-based whole foods.
Actually, no. I've been a vegan off and on for years just because I like the idea of curing with food. But what happened was I had been having a lot of stress. Some outside stressors had come. Have I not told you this story? Honestly, I thought I told everyone.
Yeah, but we're telling everybody. So
Okay, good stuff. No, what happened was she recommended essential oils for the stress.
Oh, yes.
So then I started doing essential oils. I started selling them. I started sharing all the information about how amazing they were. And I also found myself talking about other aspects of health, like gut health, immune health, endocrine, all the body functions and how important they all work together and so forth and so on, and how we can support them. And one day someone said, I see you more as a health coach.
Oh.
And I was like, but I'm like 63 and I don't think that's going to happen. And I just decided, you know what? I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I have a lot to give.
Exactly. That's amazing. And so you took the same program as I did starting in December of 2019. Yeah, 2019.
Yeah.
Wow, already time flies, when you're having fun.
Right?
It's crazy.
It has been a whirlwind year.
It's been a rock and roll whirlwind.
Yes. And so in that journey, I, found myself coaching people and learning more about plant-based living. I actually hired my own plant-based health coach.
Okay. This is what I really want to highlight, Aida, is that, we all start from somewhere. I had a coach too. 6 or 7 years ago, I had a coach that was significantly impacted my personal journey. And so, you hired a plant-based coach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was she vegan, solely vegan, or?
100% vegan.
Okay.
Whole food, plant-based, no oil.
Okay.
No cooking oil, not essential oils.
Okay. No cooking oil at all. All right. That's interesting.
And there's reasons for that, medical reasons.
Okay.
And there's a lot of doctors out there that really do prescribe this as a way of life because it is so impactful for so many reasons on your health. So I decided to do it. And I have to say, since I've been doing it, I have felt tremendously better. My energy is just seriously off the roof. My husband, who's 11 years younger than I am, I kind of dance around in circles.
Ooh, look at this.
Yeah, right.
Girl.
So,
And that's incredible. So that brought you to not only, you know, going into the health coaching, but really to explore yourself. I think you had, you know, besides your health issues that you had, Ada, you actually had, you were overweight. You did not look like the same woman you look like today. And all of that happened probably in the last like 5 to 10 years, right?
I've been a yo-yo dieter.
Okay.
So I was my heaviest at almost 200 pounds
Wow.
when I was around 40.
Wow.
And I have a family history of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and strokes, and all that, all the good stuff, right? All the bad stuff, I should say. And even though a family history can be an indicator that you may get it, you do have control. So your lifestyle is what will make the big difference. Just because you have a family history of something doesn't mean you get it. There's a saying that says, family history is like the gun, and lifestyle is the trigger.
And the
you
trigger.
Pull the trigger. You either decide to shoot it or you make the choices not to.
That is an amazing saying. I really love how that one really gets to the point of it, right? Because
Totally. Yeah.
you know, a lot of people think that their health is directly related to their inherent family hereditary. And yes, there are hereditary genes for everybody. But if we look at, you know, I don't have the statistics because this is not my domain. I don't specifically deal with nutrition, but you know, everything that you said there, heart disease, diabetes, those are the two #1 killers in the United States. They're the #1 killers in the United States. So both of them are up there in the #1 killer in the United States, let alone the rest of the world. Yeah. And those are two things that could literally be prevented by nutrition and lifestyle. And she's an example, you know. How old are you again?
I'll be 65 in just a couple of weeks.
65 in a couple of weeks. And honestly, I do not know anybody like this girl. I've seen pictures of her in her workout gear. She's a yoga instructor. She's actually getting her certification in yoga as well. And she's doing that this year. We're not talking about she did that at 40. We're not talking about she did that this year, following her path. And, you know, congratulations, Ada.
Thank you. Yay.
How do you help your clients? And this is where I kind of want to go, because, you know, I want to bring the integrative practice of wellness is super important. And, you know, I mentioned before that I've had a coach, you know, a health coach that helped me to align my hormones. I'm working with a business coach. I've worked with you, informally as my health coach when it came to my food patterns. And so I really want to bring to the table here that health and wellness is not a line. It's not a one-way path. There are so many different branches that branch out. So you mentioned having a doctor that was supporting you. I have a doctor I actually have 3 doctors that are supporting me right now. And, you know, we're working to find all those find the root cause of some of the symptoms that we're having. And so for you as a health coach that specializes in this type of lifestyle, how do you help your clients when somebody comes to you and says, hey, Ada, I need help? What's your go-to strategy? How do you get them to adopt this amazing lifestyle and see those changes take place?
Well, first of all, not all of my clients are open to doing plant-based lifestyle.
Okay.
So I work with all people.
Okay.
But most of them want to focus in on their nutrition in some form or fashion.
Okay.
So what we do is we look at the big picture. And through our program, through IIN, we learned that foods that we eat are not the same as the rest of the foods. We have something called primary foods, and that is social life, family life, home cooking, socialization. I think I brought that up, but creativity, education, employment, all the things that make us who we are. And sometimes those things on those spokes, as you mentioned in the beginning, are things that may have an impact on our health that we are not even realizing. So our job as health coaches, at least the way I operate, is we work to determine what areas that they may not be meeting what they feel
Okay.
is their best life.
Okay.
And one of my tagline for my business is start living your best life. So my
I love
job, so I see it, is to help people live their best lives.
it. Okay.
And that is by honing in on those areas that may be out of balance on that wheel,
Understood.
so we can get them to start feeling better, doing better, all the things, right? So, and then the ones that are interested in going plant-based, I am developing a program at this moment, and I am writing a cookbook. It's called Journey into Wellness, and the
That's
cookbook is
amazing.
their roadmap to wellness so that they can take step by step, like you mentioned in the beginning as well. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. And whether it's starting Meatless Monday or
Meatless Monday. That's cool.
something that helps them kind of get to the point where they feel like it's not as daunting as it may sound. And of course, there's so many scientific reasons why going this way is the best. And I like to teach that as well. And that's part of my program.
That's amazing, Ada. I really love it. We're having technical difficulties. Guess what? It's the first podcast and we're having technical difficulties. Nobody can find us. For some reason, they're not seeing us. I'm getting message after message here that there's actually people that want to join in live and they want to see our talk.
Oh.
Why is it doing this to me today? It's funny. Facebook has been so funny lately. Crazy.
Well, I have to say, even though I've helped you, you have helped me too, Crystal, with the
Really?
with technology.
Thank you.
You know, I may be 65, alive and thriving, but the technology part, there's a learning curve, right?
Oh my God, there is definite. Listen, I just turned 40. Yay! But there's definitely a learning curve. There's something to be said about having. I grew up in that generation where I was literally almost on the cusp of technology, but
Right.
not really. Like I didn't have a cell phone growing up, but like I think I got a pager when I was like, I don't know, 13 or 14 years old or something like that. We didn't have cell phones back then, so we're still typing people's telephone numbers. But thank you for that, Ada. Honestly, that's really amazing. I love how you've come full circle with your own personal health. And are there things that you're still working on for yourself from a health and wellness standpoint?
You know, I am always working on mindset.
Okay, good.
Yes. I'm always working on mindset and growth.
That's really good.
In my doTERRA team, we talked, one of the things that we was kind of our thing was that we're ever growers. We should continue to grow throughout our lives, whether it's through reading and learning or going to school or maybe even learning the violin, which I took in junior high and decided to start taking lessons again.
That's incredible.
And I'm not ready to play a concert, believe me.
No way.
But it's still fun. You need to keep going in life. There's so much to offer, especially, I've been there. I've had 3 kids. I know what it's like to have to work a full-time job.
Yeah.
Come home, get those kids homework, get baths, bedtime stories, all the fun things that you do as a mother, and then still have to do dishes and laundry and vacuum and all the things, right? So my kids were raised on fish sticks, tater tots, and sloppy joes, rice-a-roni, and all that.
Yeah.
But so I know how hard it is, and that's why it's important for me to teach people simple tricks, tips, tools, all the things that help make your life easier if you want to adopt a whole food or a plant-based lifestyle, or at least start incorporating it on the weekends or something.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's an amazing tip. Thank you so much. And I wanted to pull that out specifically because I find that people don't really realize that, on top of it, we talked a little bit before about the journey of having branches out and having different things, but also in somebody's journey like ours, right? Like we we don't have it all. We don't have it all under control. You know, like I was mentioning earlier in my introduction, you know, I work with people with stress and anxiety and that are battling burnout and depression. And that's something that I lived through. And it's still something that I have to keep in check. Right? And it's super important that people understand that it is a long-term process and there is progress over perfection. And you know, we're all going to have things that we have to work on, like this podcast that somehow it turned out that I had it on, only me could see it.
Yikes.
So thank God we are recording this. It's obviously not going to show up live anymore to people. I feel horrible. I'm sorry, Aida, for having, you know, but you are probably the best person to have on as my first guest because I feel the most comfortable with you. Actually, I'm not going to say that because then people are going to think like, well, she's not comfortable with me in the other upcoming episodes. No, but you know, I'm happy that it's with you because we both know that technology can have its issues.
Totally.
Is there anything that you would want to tell the audience about, you know, a bit more about your business, about you, how to get in touch with you?
Okay. Well, I have a website. It's www.turntohelp.guru. That's turntohelp.guru. And the reason I named my business Turn to Help, it's because we are on that journey and there's a lot of twists and turns in our road, in our journey, in our lives. Things happen, relationships fail, you know, things happen in our lives and we have to just keep plugging away on that journey, like I mentioned in the beginning, you know, and it is all about those baby steps and making one step taking one step at a time.
And speaking of first steps, what do you think that people should do if they want to go into a more plant-based, whole foods lifestyle? You mentioned it before. You mentioned something before about having like meatless Mondays. But is there something that like you tell to all of your clients to make it easy for them to just start and take that leap?
Actually, a lot of times I do recommend that they just go full bore.
Just go what?
Full bore. Just do it.
Full bore. I love it.
Just do it. Just here's the grocery list. Here's your cookbook. Eat these foods. You'll feel amazing.
Seriously. That's amazing.
I promise you.
That's probably a really good way to.
But seriously, my real answer is willing to have an open mind about it is huge because we have been programmed by society and all of those folks who believe that meat is part of what we have to survive when we do not. I am living proof. I have amazing energy. My health is good. My skin is good. I mean, I've got this hair at 65. I don't know very many women my age that are running up and down stairs all day long, that are going to school, teaching yoga, doing yoga. I'm not trying to say that I'm perfect because I do have my down days, right? We all do. We all have days where like, I just need a break. But that part is important too. The self-care is huge.
It is.
So, but as far as the food goes, the food is your medicine.
Oh yeah.
Allow the food to be your medicine and don't eat anything that has something added to it or anything taken away from it.
Yeah.
Whole foods from the earth.
It's so great that you're saying that.
We have been given this.
I was saying that this morning, that although I've gone into more of vegetarian lifestyle, plant-based whole foods, especially the whole foods portion, like I'm not buying veggie burgers. Like I'm going to take my tofu and if I want to make something, I'll make it at home. I'll create that veggie burger style. Like you don't have to buy it. And again, you know, when you have those things, like you can go to the whole food section and they'll have a ton of things that are vegetarian, they're organic. That doesn't mean that it's healthy.
Thank you for saying that. I was thinking of that earlier today, the difference between vegan and whole foods.
Yeah.
There's a lot of vegan junk out there that I don't eat.
Yeah.
Things that are added, strange ingredients. If it comes in a package with a label on it, most likely you might want to reconsider.
And that'll definitely be something for another day. I think it would be a good idea on one of my upcoming podcasts to really talk about nutrition labels. So thank you for putting that on my list. I would love to have a nutritionist on my podcast. So for those of you who are going to be watching the replay, because clearly this is not going live, please feel free to drop me your comment if you know somebody that is a nutritionist. Right now, off the top of my head, I don't have anybody in my roster, but I'd love to be able to have a nutritionist to really talk about food labels and really understand some of those ingredients that we cannot necessarily pronounce, but they're not necessarily bad. So, Aida, thank you so much. I really appreciate having you on today. Again, I couldn't ask for a better guest to be on my first fake live podcast. Anything else that you wanted to add?
Covered everything pretty much, but if you want to get a hold of me, you can contact me through my website at turntohealth.guru. Check it out, see what you think, give me feedback, let me know, be my friend on Facebook.
Yeah, man, perfect. And
Aida
listen,
Woodward.
if you guys can't find Aida for whatever reason, please reach out. It is my goal with Crystal Coaching Connections is that I help you to make those connections to the right people. I will help to guide you in the right direction and finding the person that's right for you.
Yes, and I'm excited to get my cookbook out soon. Right now it's in PDF format.
Yes, yes, yes.
I am eventually looking at doing a self-publishing, most likely.
This is amazing, Aida. Thank you so much. I adore you. Thank you for being my friend and a really amazing coach. Thanks everybody for watching, and I hope you guys have an incredible Friday and an amazing weekend coming.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, everyone.
See you.